Here's a snapshot of the impact online marketing has had on our business. 64% of our total inquiries come from our online initiatives. 46% of our sales funnel has been filled by those same online initiatives, and 47% of our total closed sales comes from online marketing initiatives. So stated differently, almost half of our closed business, half of our active sales funnel, and more than half of all of our leads come from online marketing. What's most important about this is that the cost for this is a mere fraction of what we pay for the other half. So okay, how does this relate to you, our partners? Okay. Well, ACOM has our VAR Partner Success Program. Okay. Our goal is to provide you with the tools and education that will allow you to successfully implement cost-effective online marketing initiatives that will allow you to grow your business. For our signed partners, we've even developed a pay-per-click in a box, which is a pre-configured program including keywords, analytics, and instruction on how to get started. If you're not familiar with any of these elements, just sit tight and Carl will cover them in more detail. So now let me say a word about our speaker today, Carl Kleinbach. Carl is our senior online marketing manager at ACOM. He's an active member and former marketing chairperson of the Web Analytics Association and is a featured contributor for OnlineMarketingConnect.com. His certifications in online marketing include search engine optimization, paid search engine management, online testing, demand generation professional, and pragmatic marketing. Okay. Carl's recent online successes include, and I'm referring to ACOM's online marketing initiatives, our organic search traffic is up 500%, our site conversion rate is up 350%, and our total conversions are up 800%. That's what contributes to that 50% of our closed business and active sales funnel. So now it's my pleasure. Let me introduce you to Carl. Carl, take it away.
Thanks, Jim. I'd like to welcome everybody to our webinar, Pay-Per-Click Advertising. I'm really excited to talk about this particular topic. It's part of something that I really take a great deal of pleasure in working on. So what is pay-per-click advertising? Well, chances are most of you are familiar with search engines and Google. So in this case, we've got a screenshot here of Google, and what you can see in the outlined red boxes are actually paid search ads. They show up along the top and down the right-hand side. What you see in the green are what's called organic or natural search results, which you would get from the result of SEO. So why do you want to do PPC, or pay-per-click advertising? Well, things have changed. What had happened in the past was we pushed our message out and waited for people to come and see the message that we pushed at them. Well, it's been turned on its head, and in this research, they show that 80% of technology buyers believed that they had found a vendor and not the vendor had reached out to them. In 2009, pay-per-click has been shown among marketers to be their choice for highest ROI. In this research, you can see the big blue circle there, which indicates the amount of budget being allocated to it, the size of it, and the ROI. The further to the right, the higher the ROI. Clearly, it's the #1 choice. Pay-per-click is a great way for you to get in front of potential customers. This is just a little report on 8 search terms for only Google for just the month of January. What this is 75,000 searches were performed on these particular terms. That's 75,000 chances for you to get in front of potential customers. So why do you want to do paid search as opposed to SEO? Well, it's really not a question of either or. What it is, though, is paid search is going to deliver you immediate results. Once you set this up and turn it on, you're going to start to see traffic immediately. SEO takes time, often months or years, to build up substantial traffic. The other really nice thing about paid search is this is going to enable you to figure out which terms to target with your SEO efforts. Since they're a longer-term effort, you really want to know which ones work, which ones perform in terms of conversion, which ones perform in terms of leading to sales. So why did we focus this webinar really on Google? Because Google is where your prospects are looking. There's some more research here, and it's indicating that 98% of B2B technology buyers, your buyers, are using Google as part of their research process. Further, to break this down a little bit more, 83% of them indicated that they use it all the time. So what are you going to need to set up a pay-per-click program? You're going to need some keywords. You're going to need to set up ads. You need to create landing pages. You're going to need to put some measurement in place, and you're going to need to set up your AdWords account. So let's go ahead and just kind of walk through some of these. Before I get into each one, I wanted to explain a little bit about our approach to this webinar and really our approach to online marketing. We're all on the smaller size of organizations. We wear a lot of hats. You got to get the maximum leverage for what you're doing. So this webinar and our approach focuses on the 20% that's going to deliver you the 80% of your results. We could do individual webinars on any one of those particular topics, ad creation, keywords, and so forth, quite easily. But the reality is diving that deep isn't necessarily going to deliver you the bang for a buck you're after. Starting with keywords. Getting keywords and building your keywords list really couldn't be any easier than it is now. There's a lot of places you're going to go. Some of the places you're going to start to build that keyword list, your own website. Go through the copy on the website, look at your title tags and so forth. A lot of these phrases are going to jump out at you. If you've got analytics in place, go ahead and take a look. A lot of times there's a search terms report in there that will actually show what people were searching for on search engines when they visited your site. That's a great place to collect some good keywords. Go through your collateral, case studies, white papers, data sheets, more good material. Another great one is your competitors' websites. You can go through there, look at their copy, their headlines, but also, if you know what I'm talking about, title tags, header tags, meta key phrases, things like that. You're going to dig in a little bit, and you're going to be able to find more keywords really than you know what to do with. There's other tools out here that you can pay for. One category is called competitive intelligence tools. A couple that come to mind here are called SpyFu and Compete.com. These are great tools to build a list, and the other thing is you can start to get a measure of the impact and relative value of different key phrases among the search terms that other organizations are targeting. The one you see here is nice because, one, you can see for a particular phrase who's advertising on that phrase and how much of their budget and performance comes from it. But then if you were to actually click through on that advertiser, you would actually see all the other key phrases that they're targeting. Now, it's not 100% accurate, but again, we're just building a list. Other paid tools are called keyword search databases. And what these tools do is they actually collect all the searches that are being done and categorize and database them and allow you to search through hundreds of millions, even billions of different search phrases to see how often people search for different phrases. It's a great way to get an idea of which phrases to target, and also a great way to figure out phrases you never even thought of. Google also has an excellent tool. Their keyword generation tool is going to allow you to either search based on keyword, and then it's going to give you some different phrases that are related to it. In this case, if you look on the screen, ERP software was the word we used. But the other thing it enables you to do is also target a competitor's website. And let's take a look, or even your own, let's take a look at the keywords that we see there. This tool is actually free. I don't have a link here because it's quite a long URL. We can get it out to you later. But it's called City Concoctinator. This thing is fantastic in terms of VARs. A lot of you guys have a regional focus. This tool will really enable you to generate a list in a hurry. In this case, we took a zip code and 3 phrases, and we ended up with nearly 1,700 key phrases as a result of this. The most important thing about keywords is make sure they're relevant to your business. Don't just pick up a keyword because you think it sees a lot of traffic and that prospect is somebody that you might be able to target with your products. Here's the challenge. It's not getting the keywords, it's organizing them. The reality here is what you want to do is take that great big long list and really chunk it up into little groups of about 5 to 10 tightly related keywords. You can see here we have on the left, it's an example of a long list, and then what we did with it down below in Excel. We broke it up into Dynamics Document Management, Dynamics VAR, Dynamics Great Plains VAR, and so forth. And what this does is it enables you to really closely relate the ad copy and the landing page to the particular keywords. Another tip in terms of organizing your keywords and creating ad groups is some of these phrases are going to be the ones that get the bulk of the traffic. I mean, the vast majority. So what you want to do is actually break those into individual keyword groups where it's just the one word and create a dedicated ad and a dedicated landing page for these. And it's going to really enable you to tightly target and maximize your conversion and get the most out of your investment. Now the goal, okay, actually, let's jump to ads here. We're done with keywords. Now the point of the ad, let's not confuse it. It's just to get the right person to click through to the landing page. It's not to sell your product. It's not to get them to register. It's just to get them to click. This is an example of not making the ad relevant to the search phrase and losing the click. In this particular case, the search term is document management for HR or human resources. Now you look over in the top right there and you can see a sponsored link for HR management. Now potentially this could have been HR document management, but in this case it's talent management. There's a huge disconnect between that key phrase that they searched on and the ad, and as a result their click-through rate is not going to be good, and any clicks that they get, chances are they're not going to convert. A whole lot of wasted dollars here. So when you're setting up an ad, one of the things you need to be concerned about is the ad position. And how is it positioned on the page, and how is that determined? It's determined by two things. Your bid, the more you bid, the higher you're going to rank, and the quality score. So what is quality score? Quality score is really Google's way to determine the relevance and the quality of your ad as it pertains to that particular key phrase. What this means to you is it's your opportunity to really compete with the guys that got the big budgets, because the higher your quality score, the lower your cost per click, and you're going to actually be able to leapfrog over people who are spending more money per click and get more clicks, better position on the page, and end up spending less. So how do you get a higher quality score? Well, you know, there's a lot to this. It's a complex algorithm, but the reality is spend your time on getting the click. I've heard estimates of upwards of 90+% of quality score is actually determined by the click-through rate relative to the other ads on the page. And what that means is it doesn't have to be a super high rate, 20%, 30%. What it means is it's got to be higher than the other ads on that page. Now the other things that are going to impact on quality score are relevance, and some of the things that they're going to look for to determine relevance is, are the same keywords appearing in the ad? In order to do that, you're going to want to have those tight ad groups. And then how relevant is that landing page? Do those key phrases show up in the title tag? Do they show up in the headline? Do they show up in the body copy? Now back to position on page, here's a classic mistake. A lot of people get into what's called ego bidding. They want to be number one. This is dangerous, and it's going to cost you a lot of money if you decide to go for this. The reason is it's called instinct clicks, and what happens is a lot of people will search for a phrase, and their first instinct is to click the first listing. You end up with a lot of unqualified clicks that way and a very poor conversion rate. So back to creating ads. You can spend a lot of time on various parts of an ad, URL, description, but the reality is a good title is going to outweigh all of that. There's been experiments done where they combined good titles with bad ad copy and the reverse, bad titles with good ad copy. What they found was bad copy with a good title actually really had a big impact in terms of improving click-through. But the reverse, a bad title with good ad copy, the descriptive text to the right there, really depressed the click-through rate and ended up costing people a lot more per click to rank up highly and get that traffic. With respect to the ad copy, there's some things here you can do to maximize your click-through rate. One, again, just like the title, repeat the search term. The other, have an offer. You got to provide something for them, a white paper, a free trial. Include a call to action in the ad, download now, watch video, that sort of thing. And for solution provider terms, like somebody's looking for Great Plains ERP in New York, it's a great place also to mention some awards because they're further along in the funnel and they're going to start to consider things at a different level. They're not really looking so much for general information. So mentioning awards in your ad here is a great idea. And the other is take a look at what other people are doing as far as ads. You really don't want to blend in, so they zig, you zag, stand out. You'll do a better job of getting that click. Testing is the key to pay-per-click, and in this case, the key to really good ads. My suggestion is to try 4 types of ads for each ad group you've got. One is a general product-oriented ad. You can see kind of descriptive text. I'm not going to go into this too much. The other is premium-oriented, offering a white paper and so forth. The other is problem-oriented, fixing the problem and using that sort of terms. And the other is over-the-top. And the over-the-top one actually a lot of times can surprise you and frequently is the top performer. In this case, your title would be Useless IT Investments. That's going to get a lot of attention. And then you go on to expand with something that makes sense out of that. The reality here, though, is you're not going to know what works, so test and test repeatedly. Once you figure out what type of ad works, then focus on refining that particular ad type. So your ad did it. It got them to click through, so now what? You're going to want to send them to a landing page. Now what's a good landing page going to do for you that just sending them to your home page isn't going to do? Well, in our case, we had set up a pay-per-click campaign actually using one of the leading B2B pay-per-click ad agencies. And what we did was they were pointing to a lot of different deep pages on our website that were relevant to those phrases. We had a conversion rate of about 1.5%. When we implemented landing pages, we jumped to over 30% conversion and improved our ROI on that ad spend by 20 times. So the number one rule for landing pages, you've got to make it relevant to the search phrase and to the ad. So if they search on document management system, your ad better mention document management guide, and your landing page better offer something like the free guide and feature it up there right in the headline. The number 2 rule for landing pages, focus on the offer. That's the offer that you had there in the ad. This is not a place where you want to sell your product and a bunch of other things and provide a lot of options. The more options, the lower your conversion rate. Here's an example. Google search for business intelligence software. Now the estimated average cost per click for this particular phrase is over $15. That's every time somebody clicks, it costs them 15 bucks. Here's the particular ad. Here's the landing page. What do you want the visitor to do? There's 60 choices they've got to make on this page. More choices, lower conversion rate at 15 bucks a click. The research has shown that people do not choose things so much as they eliminate choices. If you've got to go through 60 choices to make yours, chances are you're probably going to abandon before you proceed to the goal that they wanted. So moving into making a landing page. What are some of the things we want to focus on? Well, first we want to focus on headline. Again, relevant to the search term. You've got to make it compelling and inviting, and you've got to make it highly visible, big fonts, different color, that sort of thing. The copy on the page. Use fonts that are a little bit bigger here, size 11, 12, that sort of thing. Make it easy to read. Remember that your demographic, they're starting to experience a little bit of a vision issue, and larger fonts are going to be very helpful, and it's going to help them not abandon the page. Limit your line length to under 60 characters. It's hard to read a longer line than that. Limit your paragraphs to 4.5 lines max, and use bulleted lists whenever you can. All these things make the text very easy to read, very easy to scan, and overcomes one of the big obstacles of conversion. The main image for your landing page. Do you need one? The reality is, testing has shown you definitely do. You're going to do better with a main image. You're going to want to place it to the left of your text. It makes it much harder to read text if you put an image to the right, because your eye is just automatically driven to whatever image is on the page. And when you read text, you read left to right. When you go to right, you wrap. When you go left, you end. So put the image on the left. It's going to help. Show a thumbnail of what you're offering. This is big impact item. Don't just have any random image. Let's make it relevant to, again, the offer. And use captions under the image. Another phenomenon of images is not only are eyes drawn to them, but they're drawn immediately underneath them. This is a great way to restate your offer or your call to action. You're going to want to build some trust on the landing page. If you've got a privacy policy, put it here. If you don't have one, get one. Add any awards that you've got. You can see here on the page we've got them on the bottom. If you're a member of the Better Business Bureau or anything like that, add some icons there. If you've been in business for quite a while, let's go ahead and throw that up there too. You've got to build some trust and some credibility to get anybody to share their information with you. Call to action. This is no different than sales. You've got to ask for the sale. Let's go ahead and let's get them to take action. You can see we have several calls to action here, and we use a lot of images to direct people's eyes to where we want them on the page, which is that form. Now, with respect to the forms, again, let's repeat the call to action up at the top. Don't include a lot of unnecessary fields. What's going to happen is you're just going to depress your conversion rate, and we're going to get into some research here on the next slide. Use big buttons for your submission button, colors, things like that. It does help significantly. And the text on that button should not just be submit. Tell them what you're going to give them. Make it action-oriented. Again, it's a little bit of excitement. It will improve your results. So back to the number of fields in a form. What happens when we go beyond basic contact information and start to ask for those additional pieces of information? I mean, they're invaluable in terms of qualification and being able to reach people, but then let's take a look at the reality of the data you're getting. Once you move beyond basic contact information like name, company, and so forth, and start to ask things like time frame to purchase or phone number, you're starting to pick up 1 in 4 in terms of accurate responses. This was some research done by Google and TechTarget. It's valid research, and please really pay attention to this. You're really going to depress your results if you ask a lot of questions. You've got them to submit the form. That's fantastic. Now you've got the contact. You can go out. You can reach out to them. You can nurture them and so forth. But you've also got another great opportunity. When they submit that form, you're going to send them to what's called a goal or a thank you page. Use that thank you page to move them along in the purchase process. And just like the ads, test. Google's got a great tool here. It's called Website Optimizer. This thing's free. If you were to pay for a tool like this a couple years ago, it would have been thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. And here's some things that we really recommend you test. Test headlines, offers, images, copy, and form elements, and test them in that order. Now, with respect to your pay-per-click, you need to put some measurement in place. Without measurement, you're blind. You don't know what works. You're really going to end up throwing away a lot of money. Now here we have another recommendation, Google Analytics. It's free. It's a tremendously powerful tool. The implementation is very, very easy, and the depth of reporting is going to go well beyond your pay-per-click, but the reality here is for pay-per-click, it's going to tell you what's working and what's not. Now jumping to campaign management. You're setting up your campaign in AdWords. We've got some help for you here too. If you're a VAR, chances are then you have a regional focus. Limit your pay-per-click program to a regional area. Google's got a great tool here. You can do things like enter a zip code or city or state, and you can tell them exactly where you want your campaign to show up, which means it's not going to show up over in California if you've got a New York focus. They've also got a great tool to allow you to target different hours of the day. In this case, you can see how easy it is. You're literally checking boxes for the hours and days that you want to show up. Now, you can actually take this one step further and bid more for the hours that you found that you get the best results. So if you found first thing in the morning and last thing in the day, your click-through rates are better and your conversion rates are much better because you're getting higher quality visitors, you can go ahead and bid more during those hours. Stay off the content network. Google's got a number of different places for your pay-per-click ads to show up. There's Google proper, the search engine, there's the search network, and there's the content network. The content network, when you're first starting out, stay off it. It's where a lot of the wasted clicks come from. It's where a lot of the click fraud comes from. When you're setting up your key phrases in Google AdWords, there's a number of ways you can target those phrases. They have what's called broad match, phrase match, and exact match. Broad match, what it's doing is it's just picking up the different words that you've targeted in your key phrase in no particular order, and it doesn't matter in terms of what context. And what that can end up doing is you're targeting enterprise software, somebody else is searching for Starship Enterprise. You may end up with a visitor that's not going to do a lot for your business. In terms of campaign management, there's a very good tool out there. Again, it's free and it's from Google. This is a downloadable tool. You'll install it on your machine, and it's going to enable you to manage larger campaigns very effectively, make broad sweeping changes based on key phrase and different terms very quickly. I highly recommend it. And the other way, again, the old standby, Excel. The thing I really want to reiterate here is pay-per-click is not a one-shot deal. Toyota, I think, has got that phrase, continuous improvement. It really applies to pay-per-click. You saw in our case we went from 1.5% to over 30%. You're not going to get it right first time out of the gate. Stay with it, refine it, test. You can handle pay-per-click. You can do it. This is part of what I do here, so it's not something that necessarily requires a dedicated person, but we can help you an immense amount with this. We've done it. We know what works. We have what we call our PPC in a box. Now, we offer this to signed VARs, and honestly, this is worth $5,000 to $10,000 if you were to have an agency do this for you. We're going to be able to provide you with key phrases. We're going to help you organize and set up these key phrases into logical groups within AdWords. We're going to help you create ads. We have ads that are already made. We have incentive pieces that are going to drive people to action, and we've got tested landing pages that perform very well. You're going to be able to get all of those things as a VAR for ACOM. So again, this is a really great way to jumpstart. I recommend it highly.
Okay, thanks, Carl. This was a great webinar. Hopefully everyone picked up a few great tips they can start working on right away. Remember, if you've already done so, be sure to sign up for ACOM's next webinar for VARs about email marketing. You can register online at www.acom.com/channels. If you have questions you want to ask, we're going to stay on for a few extra minutes to answer those. Otherwise, be sure to please fill out the exit survey. This will help us improve on the next webinar for you.